Good evening, fight fans. This is Chris Guzman with your weekly Thursday night injection of boxing talk, updates, and all-out arguments. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour brought to you by George Rogie Insurance. It is Thursday night, May the 21st, 2009. We are live from Leg Up Studios in Hobart, Indiana, just outside of downtown Chicago. Emil Soda Babinski Kegabine on the right side of your screen. Mo, what is going on with you?
Not much, man. I'm looking forward to the big, what do you call it, month fights coming up here. It actually starts off at the very end of this month and then goes through all of June. Chicagoland's having basically fights almost every week.
This is a hotbed right here, right in the middle of the Midwest, right in Chicago.
And actually, you're gonna at least miss one of these weeks because you're gonna be in the Hall of Fame. It's probably the biggest fight of the year, at least thus far. Carlos Quintana is gonna be coming on ESPN.
Yeah,
June 5th, and you're gonna miss that. But there's still
I will miss that. I will gladly miss that. I mean, do I want to hang out with Carlos Quintana? Yes, yeah. But I'd much rather see Lennox Lewis get inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and as well as they got that night at Rising Stars, so you're going to see a lot of current fighters. We were actually talking about.
Yeah, well, Fast Eddie Chambers. Oddly enough, I don't want to name drop, but I was going to name drop a little bit. I spoke with Eddie Chambers earlier on in the week, and he was all excited about it. That he's all set, raring to go. I don't really want to throw out many more names. Deontay Wilder definitely is. And there's reason to believe that Bolo Punch had their hand in a couple of these gentlemen at least making it there. I will take a touch of credit for Eddie Chambers being invited. You have something to do possibly with Deontay Wilder being invited.
Yeah, and then obviously Berto, we brought it up last year, and he was very excited, but he had a fight that week.
But he couldn't make it, so it's very possible he'll be there this year.
And that might be possibly why he's going, is because of we put it in his ear. I mean, not so much that we're the what do you call it, the key master to these guys going
Most
there.
definitely not.
But I think we played at least a small part.
You put the bug in the ear and you let it go from there.
Yeah.
Eddie Chambers, who just whooped up on Sam Peter on Friday Night Fights last month. He asked me, just a couple days ago, what can I really expect at this? I said, imagine 4 days of everyone just fawning all over you.
Yeah.
Handing you something.
And we're naming guys now that aren't even on the flyers that they're sending out.
Exactly.
So that's why you're kind of being hush-hush about it, because you're
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that the Hall of Fame wants, me to attach names to their, because someone might be listening right now and decide, oh, Andre Berto's going to be there, and they're not advertising that. And if that's the reason you buy your ticket to be there, and you get there and he's not there, then I'm an ass, and I've ruined it.
Well, you're an ass anyway.
I'm an ass anyway, but now to have a really valid reason, I'm not up for that. So unofficially, Andre Berto will be there. Unofficially, Eddie Chambers, although he told me he was. Officially, Deontay Wilder, and officially Paul Williams.
Yeah, and if you want to get a photo of Deontay Wilder's last fight, I mean, leg up photos.
They're not going to be everywhere.
Yeah, leg up photos. I just took one in Chicago of a beautiful shot of him standing over his guy.
If you don't say so yourself.
Making I mean, the thing is, when you're a photographer, I mean, there's a lot of shots that action shots you can get when the guy's knocking somebody out or whatever. But you don't always get the facial expressions.
Well, there's a lot of variables that lighting and timing and where you're at, your position.
Yeah, but
whose sweaty armpit is in your face. And
most of the time, you can get a pretty good shot where they're making contact or whatnot. But you're not always going to get that shot where he's got that facial expression, because they don't always do that,
Of course not, no.
But he nailed this guy, and he just turned and went, ooh, and it made for a great photo.
You're really good at getting it within the first minute. I mean, I've been picking up a couple things here and there that you've been saying over the years, us going to fights, several times a year. The first minute of each round is really good. You told me a while back for getting the sweat splash shots.
Yeah, because it's not even so much the sweat. It looks like sweat.
Yeah, it looks good. It's
what it is later on, third, fourth round when they start sweating and they're in the corner, they dump a bunch of water on them. So when you get nailed at the very beginning of the round, all that water's flying off of them.
And that makes for a badass shot.
Yeah.
Bam! Their face is already distorted. Their hair's out like this, and all of a sudden there's this giant lion mane of water flying away from them.
Yeah, by the third minute of that round, or second.
Yeah.
closing minutes of that round, closing minute, I guess.
Yeah.
Most of the sweat's already knocked off him, or most of the water's knocked off of him. He's still sweating, obviously, throughout the whole fight. But
let me get to Timmy, the producer Patterson.
he looks like he's sweating.
The 800-pound gorilla in the room that we haven't even mentioned yet. Timmy, the producer Patterson, what's going on in your world, and how can our listeners get in touch tonight?
Well, not a whole lot going on in this my world here, but the way you can reach us tonight is via Yahoo Instant Messenger, keyword Bolo Punch Box Hour. The hotline is open, 219-743-9743, but the best way to reach us is via the chat room, via ustream.tv.
Yes. Before I go much further, I want to say a very special hello to everyone over at Ringside Report, especially my new friend Gino, and our old friend Pete the Heat Perry, who's a feature writer for them. We're going to be hanging out with Pete in the at our personal Wally World in Canastota, New York, for the 20th induction ceremony at the International Boxing Hall of Fame, Canastota. We'll be doing a live broadcast from Graziano's on that Thursday night. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is Thursday the 4th. Yes, Thursday the 4th.
Yeah.
Because Saturday is the 6th. So
Yeah.
Thursday the 4th. And who's going to be our special guest? We don't know. That's why we love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great fighters wandering around Graziano's. You just try to grab whoever you can.
You just don't know who's going to walk in.
Yeah, I'm sure Bert Sugar will sit down with you for a little while. I mean,
Bert will be there.
He almost every year he sits down with us
Sure.
for at least a little bit. I'm gonna miss that this year. I mean, I'm gonna be watching Carlos Quintana probably knock his guy out, but I mean
that'll be on Friday. On Thursday.
Yeah,
you'll be at home logging on,
yeah.
so that we'll have one more listener, like a good little boy.
Well, I at least get a nice consolation prize and get to see.
At very least, you get to see something that I don't get to see. Yeah, because I'm not going to see any fights. I'm not going to see any live fights. I'll see some of the greatest fighters that ever put gloves on, but I won't see any fights.
You'll probably see some sparring.
I'll definitely see some sparring. So some really good stuff.
Last year we got to see Corey Spinks in there a little bit. Camacho got in there, and
Livingston Bramble put the gloves on and did some.
Nate Campbell, he was champ at that time,
yes,
so he got in there as well.
Yes, he did.
With Pernell Whitaker in the corner yelling at him.
That's ridiculous. I mean, it's just so surreal seeing the lineup of fighters that you see. Well, I mean, I've got lots of things I want to talk about. Obviously, we have to talk about Andre Ward against Edison Miranda. That was the big fight. You sure? I was about to take it now.
Whatever you want, buddy.
All right.
Well, I want to bring up something. We'll get to this after the break.
We definitely have to talk about Andre Ward and Edison Miranda on Showbox.
Let's talk about Paulie Malignaggi making it on the new Bolo Punch, or not Bolo Punch, Bolo Punch.
He can come on Bolo Punch anytime he needs to.
What was it? Mike Tyson's Punch Out before. Now it's just Punch Out.
That's awesome. He is definitely a Zoolander type character.
Well, he is Little Mac. If you ever play the arcade
game,
awesome. That's the
character that you are.
Yeah, that's the character you are. Paulie Malignaggi. I mean, it was based originally on Mike Tyson, another Bronx fighter, and now they got Paulie Malignaggi in there, another Bronx fighter.
Awesome.
So it's kind of exciting. I'm sure Paulie's pretty excited about this.
Well, we're gonna have to have him on in the next week or so.
I'm gonna have to see the game in person. I mean, I read a little report on.
I saw a commercial online for it. It's pretty badass. I mean, Glass Joe looks exactly like what we remember as Glass Joe, but then he's in total 3D. I mean, they really busted him. He's flying out of the page.
And this is for the Wii, so it's actually you get to box a little bit with your fist. It's a little bit different than just sitting there with the remote. And
see, video games are not. When you and me used to run home from middle school to play Castlevania, I didn't think that video games would ever make you sweat.
Yeah, you really don't have to. It's not like when we used to play Castlevania where you got to put the Nintendo game in and then put another Nintendo game on top of it.
Well, if you've worn it out, you have to shove another disc in there. And it's not even a disc, it's this thing.
It's a cartridge.
It's a cartridge, yes. Anyway, and we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back at you. This is Bolo Punch. We'll see you in a bit.